Hey y'all, it's me, Zilria, back again. We're doing our second episode of our series, How Did You Do That? And today our episode is on sizing down. Many of you watched my vampire Holly BB bowled over walkthrough video and commented or sent me messages asking me how I did the size down on those statues. And since I had a lot of information on that already kind of prepared and in my mind since I'd done it so soon before this, I thought that it would be the perfect topic for episode 2. So we're going to jump right in and start doing this. In order to size down, you do have to have a sim. So you need to be on building in live mode, or have moved a family into the house you're building in order to make this work. You will need to have BB move objects on, and you do also need to have your testing cheats true on in order to make this work. So let's jump right in and I will show you a few things. Okay, so we are right here in our little lot of craziness. I do love to build that. It kind of build for these videos like that. It does make it kind of look like you're in a shopping center or something. I do think that it's pretty cool. So as you can see here, I do have several items here that I have sized down. And then over here, I kind of have a scene of like reasons, I think, or like why you would need them, or what you would use them for. One thing that I do want you to keep in mind is that not everything can be sized down. Some things bug out, some things, get bigger instead of smaller. Some things do size down, but then they aren't usable at the smaller size, or when you use them, your sim still uses them like their normal size, even though they've been sized down. So here's the first thing that I'll show you. So this is that Astro Bunny statue. It's the statue that I used in that bowled over video. And here is the original size, and here is the size down size. And so, it's quite a significant difference in size. And then, look at this statue right here. This is only one size down. I haven't sized it down 4 or 5 times. It's just one time, and it's gotten really, really small. So let me show you how this works. Okay, so you do need to be in live mode. You have to have testing cheats true on, which gives you the debugs, the cheats, the casts, resetting objects. You do have to have testing cheats on in order to make that work. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do in order to make the size down work is we're going to select the statue we're going to hold shift down and select the statue. Now you need to set the statue as head, and if you look, it teleports onto the head of your sim. I don't know why this cheat exists. I don't know what it was put in the game for. I don't know why you would want to make things your sim's head. I really don't know. So, but that is what has happened. So then after this is on your sim's head, you can see that it is sized down to the smaller size. Then you're going to, on the object, hit shift. You're going to reset the object. It will come over here and sit behind your sim. And then you also need to reset your sim. So then if I go into build mode, I can move the statue. I can do, whatever I would need to with it. I can make these statues be friends. I can put them together to be like one statue. Of course, this is clipping, but you get the idea that, I can kind of meld them together to be 2 statues instead of 1. So this is going to work the same way with every single object you size down. So if I go over to this rug and I set this rug as head, it's not on my head. It's like floating in strange space, and you can't always see it when you're turning. I don't really know exactly where it is, but it works the same way. Then I will reset the object, reset my sim, and here is the rug now in this small size. So this will work really well if you want to make a certain rug into a bathroom rug, like this one, for instance, in a kid's bathroom. That'll work really nicely. I have like sized down this flower rug. It will work really nicely. However, there is no way to make it just a little bit smaller so that, you know, I could fit this into, you know, the room size that I want. That's just not possible. But there are, you know, there is this option in order to make some things work for your build, I don't know, aesthetics, for the look that you want your build to have. Now, so if you look over here, these items are only slightly smaller. Okay, so here is another thing that happens. So if you size up or down something and you do not reset both the object and your sim, the object that you resize down will disappear. So right before I started this video, I did this table, and obviously I did not reset it, and the table has gone away. So I'm just going to redo this real fast. Reset and reset, and then I can move it back over here because that is one of the items I did want to show you. Okay, so when you look at this refrigerator, it obviously is only a little bit smaller. Let me show you kind of how this is going to work with my sim. I haven't actually, so I don't think she can even open this. Can she not open it? Have a quick meal. Let's see how she interacts with this little fridge. So the fridge actually works quite well. The grill is a completely different story. So this is actually going to work perfect. I didn't test it out before I started the video, but I've now sized this down, and it will be like the perfect size if you were making like a smaller apartment but you wanted the really nice fridge. But look over here at the grill. So I have sized down this grill. I thought that it would be perfect for, you know, if you wanted your kids to have like a little play grill. But as you can see, this is usable still at the normal size of the grill. It does not, you know, become usable at the size down size to be believable for the size that it is. So let me see one more thing. We're gonna pause real fast. I'm gonna move this way over here, and because she's gonna scrap this. Oh, she's gonna come over to this table. So let's throw this away, and hopefully she'll use this trash can so that we can see how it will work. Okay, so this is perfectly usable at the smaller size also. That's wonderful. Okay, so I'll show you. I did size down this trash can right here. It became just a little bit smaller, which is perfect if you want to use it inside, so that you can, you know, it's a little more believable. So over here, I sized down this table. This table became a really cute little size. I think that it's perfect sized down just a little bit to be more like a kid's table. These two objects have also been sized down, and you can see a tiny difference in them. However, the size down on these did not actually size down, it made larger. The same with these two objects and the grill tools right here. This did actually size down, and I'll show you in a minute on the porch setup that I have over here that I used this, sized it down to be kind of like little utensils for a child to use on this little children's now grill. So I do want you to just be aware of the fact that sometimes things get bigger, or they just size down a little tiny bit. But so let me show you this statue. This is a pretty dramatic let's pause. This is a pretty dramatic difference. So when you size this statue down, it does become quite a bit bigger. Oh, I don't want to set this head. I want it to reset. And then reset my sim. And as all of you know, I'm sure, it's fairly easy to already size objects up. There's no reason to do this cheat to size up objects. So, I mean, we don't need this cheat in order to make things bigger. So obviously this statue is just not something that's going to work. But I did find several other objects that do size down nicely. This sizes down beautifully. What is this even called? This is a shield. Eurus's shield. Okay. So it did size down to this really nice thing. I think that it'll be nice to use as like a room divider, or, you know, outside, maybe in around a pond, or a fountain or something. I think that it could be really nice. I did really like the snails sized down to a really cute little size. Another thing is that this does not allow you to size down more. So if I set this to head, it is the exact same size. It's not going to size down any bigger or any smaller. It's just going to continue to be that smaller size. It only sizes down once. You can't make it smaller and smaller. It's just going to be what it's going to be. So let me do, however, this, and we're going to set to head again. We're going to reset and reset, and then we're going to move this over here. And then I'm going to show you kind of a scene that I've set up to just kind of show you what you can do with some of these size down objects. So over here, I've made this fountain. Some of you asked questions also about making fountains on top of porches because nobody quite caught what I did. Obviously, it was a walkthrough video on that bowled over video. It wasn't a tutorial like this video is. So in here, I do have this statue over here, this very large statue. I have it sized down. I put the little snails in here. There's a couple of plants. This is a half wall built on top of the porch. Let's go into build mode real fast. So this is just the little half wall, the little tiny one, built on top of the porch. I put some wood, some green wood inside here, covered it in rocks. And it kind of makes it look like it's a fountain. If you put these with BB Move objects on, if you put these water jets in here, it does shoot water all over and makes it look like there's a fountain on top of foundation, since obviously you cannot use the fountain tool on foundation. So in play mode, obviously these are all spraying, and I mean they're bigger than the fountain, so they're getting water all over the porch, but you know, everything's spraying and it's got a nice green ambiance and it looks really cute. We have the snails in here, sized down of course, and the statue. Okay, so let's pause so my sim self isn't, well, I guess we can just let her get into trouble. So over here I do have the grill set up, and then this is the nice sized down trash can. I think that it looks a lot nicer, but it's also closed because obviously you're out here eating and you don't really want to smell everything that's in there. We do then have like a little children's setup with the little tiny grill, so the kids can feel like they're part of the action, and then the little sized down kids table with a little stool, and then here's that little knickknacks tub for them to kind of play with stuff on the grill. And so this is just kind of like a scene example of what I think you could do with some of these sized down objects. Obviously there's a million other things you could do. So over here I do want you to see that this object did size down. It does look nice. However, the water feature does not size down with it. So the water feature is still up here. This makes this object something that you can't really use in a build, but I did want to make sure that you knew that some things are going to size down, but they're just not going to look right. This is the same problem we have when we try to size up or down windows or mirrors. And a lot of different objects, water features, when you size them up, they don't, the water part doesn't get bigger, so you don't ever see the really cool feature at a bigger size. I thought that this well was really cute, sized down. This could be really cute if you were doing like a little garden area for kids, or maybe you made like a little kids playhouse. I think that this would be a really cute feature to use there. Obviously, a lot of the statues do size down fairly well. If you wanted to make them a feature of some sort of build you're doing, maybe a garden or the front of a building or a restaurant or some sort of business, something like that. You might not be able to use this giant statue. Maybe you don't have enough room. You just want to put them, at the top of a wall or something like that. And so this will work really well if you size them down. Let's actually go into build mode so that we can turn the lights back on because it's getting kind of dark out here. Another thing that I did discover when I was doing this size down is that you can size down a lot of foliage. So the trees will size down fairly nicely. So here's the original tree. Here is the sized down tree. And so that worked really well. And I think that this is kind of about it as far as featuring this sizing down. There's not a lot to it. It's a lot of trial and error. Obviously, the only thing that I have that I had before this video sized down in order to actually utilize was this Astro Bunny statue. So I did some trial and error and found all of these other objects that do size down. The fridge, I think, is probably my favorite right now because I didn't think that it was going to be usable, and then we record this video and I find out that I can use it perfectly. I'm also very excited about the trash cans, because if any of you guys watch Holly BB's streams, she loves to use this trash can inside, and I've never done it because it's so big. It just doesn't seem believable that you would have a trash can that big in your kitchen. But size down just a little bit, I think that it will fit perfectly, and I'm going to have to start using that in my builds more often. As always, if you have any questions, comments about this video, I'm happy to answer your questions. Happy to reply to any comments. I'll always reply to your comments. And if you have an idea for the next How Did You Do This video, I would love to hear from you. You can catch my live streams on Twitch at twitch.tv/Zilria. As always, follow me on Twitter at Zilria_. And if you're enjoying the YouTube videos, you're enjoying the content, please hit the subscribe button. Until next time, I will talk to you soon. Love you to pieces. Bye-bye.